If you could only choose one bait or presentation for walleye, what would it be?
So that, that's probably an average fish around here, I would say. Cabbage weed. Little guy. Yankee wins, you don't lose my minnow. And try and get a walleye or two. You get some beautiful eating size walleye in 5 minutes. Nice.
The Fishin' Canada Show, brought to you in part by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Princecraft Boats, dominate the waters. Garmin, plot your paradise, reel 'em in. And Ontario, Canada, in partnership with Destination Ontario.
Hey everybody, on this Fishin' Canada episode, I'm going to start out with a question. If you could only choose one bait or presentation for walleye, what would it be? Now, depending on where you live, there might be an array of answers, such as crankbaits and minnow baits, jigs, spinners, grubs, live bait, ice fishing jigs, and spoons. In my case, however, having fished for walleye from Lake Erie and all the way through to Northwest Ontario, plus the Western provinces and even into BC, I've come up with a definitive answer for myself. Day in and day out, the simple jig head and minnow is my hands-down choice. However, even though the jig and minnow is my ultimate choice for catching numbers of concentrated walleye, it's not my first choice for finding those fish.
What I want to find today is I want to look for a newly emergent cabbage weed. Cabbage weed will hold walleye, muskie, and pike. So that's what I'm going to be looking for today. I might troll around to look for that stuff. Like right now, I'm just trolling speed anyway, so I might as well dump a bait in and pull it behind me. Once I find the weed bed, I think that's my best chance at catching anything, really.
I like to cover water by either casting or trolling faster-moving artificial baits. And when I'm in the North Country like today, I always search with a leader on in case I tie into a big pike.
I'm gonna troll in front of this island. I saw a little ridge that I really liked. It came out from deep water, went up the ridge, and then back down. And I think it's like a ridge, like a lengthwise ridge, maybe. I'm hoping.
After covering lots of water by trolling, I finally found what I believe will be the key to a successful day.
Cabbage weed. And up in the North Country, that's gold. That is fish attracting gold. Here's a bigger chunk of it right here. That, my friends, is the ultimate weed for muskie, pike, walleye, and smallmouth. If you have largemouth in your lake, to an extent that too. It's not the best largemouth weed, probably because it's got everything else in it. But for muskie and pike, dynamic. Walleye, very good. Smallmouth, excellent. Walleye? They're not bad. I've come into this bay and there's a river or a creek that goes by there. I just come over the drop of the creek channel, the old channel that used to run through here. Dropped from 3 feet to about 8 feet. I'm at 8.7, so 9 feet. And fishing the faster dropping edge. Not a big walleye, but he's not bad. Walleye. See, Walter? And right in the channel, which would be very cool. I can do a couple drifts with my minnows. Speaking of which, put my minnows in the lake, a little drink.
Now that I've picked up some fish with my casting and trolling gear, I've waypointed a couple locations that could have a few walleye in them. When small to medium-sized fish hit big baits like spoons and swim baits, it means they're hungry. Once I contact walleye in what I feel is a decent spot, doesn't matter if they're small, by the way, next step is to change my pace, slow down, and drag around my be-all, end-all walleye killer, a jig and minnow.
Your traditional screen can catch you a lot of fish, especially in northern Ontario. Tiny, but that's an eater on this lake.
Here's a little tip for North Country fishing. When puttering and trolling around on an active school of walleye, try keeping your outboard running. Oftentimes, anglers shut their motors down thinking they're scaring the fish, but the reality is, the stopping and starting of the motor makes more of a disruption than the steady purr of a four-stroke.
If those are walleye and they're biters, they're gonna bite. They don't care about it. Electric versus this. It's just when I get in that shallow water stuff, and I want to get into stealth mode maybe after repeated drifts.
Lac Seul, the body of water that I'm fishing today, is mostly known as a phenomenal walleye producer, and justifiably so. It is that good.
Off you go, buddy.
However, Lac Seul is not just about the walleye. There's an amazing northern pike, muskie, and smallmouth bass fishery just waiting to be hit. A couple of seasons ago, Ange and Steve Niedzwiecki took advantage of Lac Seul's crazy smallie and pike population.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh yeah.
That's the one.
The old dead stickin'.
The old dead stick. Does it again.
Nice.
There we go.
Little smallie right where he should have been.
That's a beauty. Nice color. The slow dead stick presentation
The old
does
slow
it
dead
again.
stick.
Oh, whoa. There's one. Atta boy. Does it feel good?
Well, there's a big swirl.
I heard the swirl.
He's coming too easy.
That's okay.
No, that's a bigger
that's
fish.
A better, oh, it is
That's
a
a
better,
better fish.
I think we better grab the net.
Yeah, I believe this is net worthy.
Yes, it is. We're on your side here, buddy.
He's coming right through there.
That's an awesome bait.
swallowed
That's a
it,
great,
too.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
he's got it
nice
all in.
fish. I love it.
Done. Nice work.
go.
Nice work.
Oh, did you see that? Yeah, buddy.
He would have counted anyways. Right?
Yeah, but the folks at home want to see this one.
That was cool. As soon as he got him in the net, poof, out he went. And we both said he's well hooked because we couldn't see the bait.
No.
Right? The lure was embedded right in him. I got the net.
All right, you got the net?
Yep, I'm good.
Hey.
Talk about an awesome multi-species fishery. Something Ange and I always like to remind people about is knowing the angling regulations pertaining to the area you're fishing. Specific laws like catch and possession limits as well as size limits are always changing, but you need to know the general laws as well.
I knew you were there. I know it's a walleye, I just don't know how big. That little walleye, perfect eater. They have a slot limit here on Seul. And when you look at that underneath, you see that? You'd think that by that fish being caught underneath like that, right under the chin. And the significance to that a lot of people don't know is that you can't keep that fish because you did not catch him in the mouth. So I know a lot of people keep them and that's a beautiful eating fish and all that, but legally you gotta throw that fish back because you didn't catch him in the mouth, you snagged him underneath the chin. Think about that one, you gotta remember it. If you're an ethical angler, then you will put that one back, no matter what. There he is, eat it. Nah, little eater walleye. I'm gonna lose my minnow on him unless I fling him into the boat really quick, like that. That's an eater on this lake. That's an eater on Lac Seul.
Fishing a jig and minnow isn't brain surgery, and in fact, on days when the fish are active, you'll often be fishing like a machine, one after the other.
Those ones really pop, pop, pop. Decent walleye here. This is a nice one. That is using your electronics to the max right there. But your traditional screen can catch you a lot of fish, especially in northern Ontario. You get on a spot like this, you catch your shore lunch in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like that. You get some beautiful eating size walleye in 5 minutes.
When fishing northern Canadian Shield Lakes for walleye with the jig and minnow, I really love combining trolling with a bit of drifting.
This tiny little spot, believe it or not, with the jig and minnow, you just gotta troll around in circles. You can use your big motor, you can use your electric motor, you can use whatever. But when the fish are there, there's one sitting on the bottom right there. I can see that. He might bite. Just because he's locked on the bottom doesn't mean he's not gonna bite.
If I'm fishing a specific piece of structure, I'll let the wind move me around nice and slow, and if I need to make adjustments, I simply kick the motor either in reverse or forward to compensate.
But on a spot like this, I can give you a great tip. Put a jig and a minnow on, put her in reverse, and just do circles. Just do circles around. and eventually you're gonna pick up fish. If you see them on your screen, up on northwestern Ontario or anywhere where there's walleyes, especially on a flat bottom, you're gonna catch them. Eat it! Nah, that's tiny. That is, well, easy to keep coming in real easy, as usual. But this shows you how quickly you could pick up a shore lunch in a place like this, right? Tiny little wee narrowed down area, and you're catching all these shore lunch fish. It's like, wow, you know, I mean, this is awesome. You know, they're all small, they're all the same size. Don't lose my minnow. Oh, there was my minnow. I knew it. Try to jump like a smallmouth. Now you're saying that's, my God, why would you keep a walleye that small to eat? Well, maybe a little bigger than that. Just on the higher end of the slot limit, of the underslot, they're so delicious. They're so delicious, and you're not hurting the population by keeping little guys like this and bigger. As a matter of fact, you usually do the system pretty good by doing that. So you get your shore lunch here, your shore lunch fish, two to 2.5 of those fish per person is lots, believe it or not. Sometimes if you're not that hungry with all that fixings, just 1 fish per person is good, but maybe 1.5 fish. Get your stuff here, get your fish here, go back to the camp and cook them up. But I'm gonna move on because I'm looking for bigger ones. The screen right now, I'm still recording it. This screen right now, wow, in 15 feet of water. I'm not leaving yet.
As you can see on today's show, I'm constantly looking at my Fish Finder GPS combo. The obvious things I'm looking for are fish. However, bait, structure, and cover are all key. I'm also checking out my charter map, always on the lookout for my next hotspot.
There's one biting right there and you missed it. There's one right on the bottom. That's a big fish, right on the bottom there. And there's another little one with it. I'd love to catch him, but he'd be right here. So he's gonna be right back there. I don't know if I'll get a shot at him unless I cast him, because that looks like a good sized fish. The reason I say that is my transducer is mounted right there at the back of the boat, shooting down to probably a spot only about that big around. I'm just shooting straight down. So if I'm seeing those fish like that, there, imagine how many there are here. I mean, I'm picking them up straight below the boat every time I do a pass. So there's probably 20 walleye in this area.
If there is a downfall to the jig and minnow, it's the fact that any and all walleye can and will take a shot at it.
Don't lose my minnow. Yankee you and say, don't lose my minnow.
That includes small fish. Great for action, but not so great for trophy hunters and putting a hurt on your minnow supply.
I get bit 3 times coming in and now I got nothing but wood. That's a hit. Typical walleye I've been getting. Eater, shallow, 6.3 feet of water. There's lots of them here, but they're hard to fish because the bottom is full of wood too. They're biting funny though, they're not tagging it. There's a bit of a cold front going through right now, so that could be affecting these fish. Here we go. Yep. You get onto them like a lake like Lac Seul, you get on a spot like this, you catch your shore lunch in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like that, you get some beautiful eating size walleye in 5 minutes.
Pete's hotspot for this episode was a bottom contour on Ontario's walleye-rich Lac Seul. The waypoint on your screen will get you right there. Now, it doesn't look like much from above the water. However, if you run a chart plotter with good mapping, or you quick draw your own map, you'll see a distinct bend in the drop-off. This is one of a few similar areas where Pete started out by trolling, and then casting faster moving baits in search of active groups of walleye. Once found, he then put his trusty jig and minnow to work. For more hotspots like this one, check out fishingcanada.com.
Whoa. Pike? Or is it just a feisty walleye? Fought like a pike, but it's a better fish. So I made this fire because my man Jordan's shooting there. Doesn't have rain gear. Rainstorm came in nasty. So we pulled into this, what we thought was a sandy beach. Right, Jordan? So we got the fire going just to warm up a little bit. Now, of course, the rain has left, and it's a clay beach, and our boots are completely annihilated. So now the next thing is getting back into the boat without getting too much of a mess. Once my man warms up.
You might be asking, why the jig and minnow? Why not a worm or a leech? In my personal walleye history, during the cold water period, the minnow is hands down the best. Although the worm and leech work very well in warmer water, so does a minnow, even if it's dead.
I will say, you know, northern Ontario in the north, this is a daily occurrence. When you find a group of these walleye, oops, there he goes, he took off. You go to southern Ontario, you fish in a lot of, you know, fertile bodies of water. It just doesn't happen like this. You can't just sit there and find a pot of fish. There's probably 20 or 30 fish in this spot. This entire bay probably has 3 of those spots. And then there's somewhere else in the lake that's got 100 fish and, you know, all these different spots of that. So when you find them here, that's the beauty of it. Nobody else with me. That's tough to beat when you, especially for walleye. When you come up to the north, man, you get onto them. Jig and a minnow, you can get them on cranks, you can get them on everything else, worms, leeches too. But you find a pot of fish, you can just have fun all day long. Oh, he let it go. How does a fish let a minnow go? Like, what is he thinking? Like, what are you thinking? Oh, this is a better walleye, I think. I think he's fighting better. It's gotta be better. Look, he hasn't come in 2 seconds. Oh yeah, he's not big, but he's nice. He's a lot nicer than what I've been getting. Nice, Walter. We fished it in fall. Ange and I one time fished it in the fall, and it was absolutely insane. That's better. And so that, you know, that's probably an average fish around here, I would say, which is fine. You don't need to keep fish this size, but you get all those little guys. Jig and minnow. See, he's crooked there now because this fish knocked it over, but that's just a staple up here. You want to catch walleye all day long, you throw a jig and you throw a minnow. That's a nice fish. I'll try for one more. I was gonna leave, but that gives me a little incentive to try and catch a couple more bigger ones. Have we got any size to you, buddy? Whoa. Is it a pike? Or is it just a feisty walleye? Fought like a pike, but it's a better fish. How's that sound? What do we got? I think it's a walleye, and I think it's a good one. Yeah, it is a walleye for sure. There he is. Nice. There's my 23-inch walleye. I knew there was some bigger fish in the school. Easy, buddy. Don't steal my minnow. We'll be a real happy couple, you and I. There. A little better. Just, you know, you could catch these all day. You'd be one happy customer at the lodge, wouldn't you? Nice. Good-looking fish. I think there's lots of them down there like that, too.
Well, there you go. You found my absolute stripped-down tackle kit walleye presentation. I know many of you have used the jig and minnow, and I'm sure most have been successful. If you haven't, then I encourage you to give it a shot when all else fails. Just remember, it's all about the feel.
To get to today's outstanding fishing, Pete first drove north on Highway 400 to Highway 69. He then took Highway 17 northwest until just east of Dryden. He then turned north on Highway 72 until he reached his first destination at Anderson's Lodge. But that was only part of his trip. From there, he finally ended up at Tom's Landing Outpost. You can arrange with Anderson's to either fly there, or you can take your own boat throughout the gorgeous stretch of Lac Seul waters. Be forewarned though, it's about a 40-mile boat ride. We rate Anderson's as one of the top lodges in all of Ontario, with great accommodations, meals, and access to world-class fishing. It gets no better.
The Fishin' Canada Show, brought to you in part by Yozuri Fishing Lures, fish the best. Mercury Outboards, go boldly. And Outdoor Canada, Canada's only national fishing and hunting magazine.
Closed captioning for this episode is brought to you by FishingCanada.com. the gateway to your next fishing adventure.
Come along to our cabin in the wild, 'cause we're in for some good fishing in Canada.